Get in, loser.
I reply like, whatever. When can you come get your stuff?
This girl don't force me to come to Mat Pilates. I'm overstimulated already in this big ass gym. I had to go to my bank, give me a little 20. And that bank is the Bank of Dad. Avocado toast.
Get money, that's all I know. Feelings about you, I moved on, yeah. I moved on, yeah. So long, yeah.
I can't do this. My ass has no charisma. No, it does. Tons full of charisma. Ready?
Just like that. Just like that. I'm back. Hey y'all, welcome to Life with Lola, episode 4, and I have a life update for you guys. So I know it's been a while since I uploaded any new footage to this series, and the reason why we've had that hold up is because my hard drive crashed. So all the footage that I recorded, I no longer could access, which pretty much kind of put me in a funk to where I was not creating any type of content. I wasn't editing, I wasn't doing anything, and honestly life in itself had a lot going on. So I'm taking this time to bring you up to speed and give you an update, and I may be able to throw in some footage here or there, but just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So I'm going to jump right into it and say the biggest life update that we have right now is the fact that I have moved to Tampa, Florida. I'm no longer in Atlanta or Miami. I'm not by residential, meaning I'm not staying in 2 places at once. I am actually settled in 1 city. So you might be like, okay, why Tampa? If you've been following me for a while, you know that I used to live in Tampa. I went to undergrad there at the University of South Florida, go Bulls, and I graduated, stayed there for a couple years before I went into this period of exploration from Miami to Atlanta to actually from Orlando to Miami to Atlanta, back to Miami, and now we are in Tampa Bay, okay? And one of the main reasons why I wanted to stay here is because I knew that my time in Miami was coming to an end, and I knew that I did not necessarily want to go back to Atlanta, so I started to kind of look at
my finances, like the budgeting. You see how I am nitpicking every little thing. I've never been like that.
I had to look at the finances and looking at the economy and looking at just how things have been going to make an executive decision, which pretty much felt like Tampa was the right move. I had the network and community there, as well as the cost of living is way cheaper. So I could be making the same amount of money that I've already been making, but I'm spending less because cost of living is cheaper. Just for context, the apartment that I was living in Miami, I was paying about $3,000 a month, which is fine, but remember, I'm doing contract work, so I'm constantly having to find new jobs, and I was kind of getting tired of being in that cycle. And though I had my family there to support me, I just kind of needed to pause and reflect, with you guys knowing that last year was just a major time of burnout for me. So I've been really trying to figure out like what I want to do, where I want to do it, how I want to do it, and I landed back in Tampa. And so one of the other reasons why I was here is because I've honestly been thinking about going to law school or business school for the longest. Now, law school, I was intentionally trying to go around like the 2022, 2023 time, but I used that time to kind of lock in on project management, getting certified, doing projects and stuff like that, which made me put law school on the back burner. But if I was going to law school, I was going to be majoring in business because that's my area of interest, that's my zone of genius. And so now that I've kind of built up a name for myself in project management and consulting and stuff like that, I felt like, you know what, I actually want to get my MBA. I actually don't want the JD, because quite frankly, I would have went and got that degree, that law school degree, and then went right back into the MBA program. That's just me. I don't know nobody else, but I would have did that. So let's bypass law school and go into business school and network network and grow there. And so why business school? One of the main reasons is I need a network. And so even though I have you guys as my community online, you guys aren't necessarily my community in person, and I need to start rubbing elbows and building that community. The entire time that I've done project management, I've been remote. And I live in this weird dichotomy of like, yes, I want to go out and make connections, but I also want to kind of stay in the back burner behind the scenes. And so trying to break that wall to navigate both spaces has been very difficult, to say the least. But now I figure, you know what, let me do this program and build my network. I do have a nice social network, but that job network, that wealth network, that business network, I do not have. And so now is my time to intentionally build that. One of the ways that I wanted to do this is actually go to school in person, hence where USF comes into play. So I actually got admitted into the University of South Florida's MBA program, and I will be starting this fall. And I'm inviting you to join that experience with me. So I will be doing weekly, don't fight me, y'all. If I don't do weekly, don't fight me. But the plan is to do weekly updates on how like this MBA student is going, and I will be on campus. So it is an evening program that allows me to go to class once a week for a couple hours, and which means I still get to work full time during the day, which I will be taking full advantage of. But I wanted to kind of be in person and rub elbows. The last master's degree that I got, I did it online, cool, and I haven't been in person for school since 2013 when I graduated with my undergrad bachelor's degree. So it's definitely time to kind of go out there and meet people and make connections. You guys know that I used to be a former educator, so educators are not very corporate professionals. We don't really engage with corporate much, which is why like me transitioning into the business world, I only could do so much remotely. You know, you have to shake hands, kiss babies, get in person, talk to people, and that's what I want to do, especially in this world. I feel like I got remote down pat, but now it's time to kind of go backwards a little bit or pivot a little bit and now start to do those in-person connections. Now, one of the main reasons why I chose USF's program is one, the cost. It's about $20,000, no more than $30,000, honestly, and that's fairly cheap for a business program in the United States, especially in Florida, from a public school. And so I can pay for this out of pocket because my career in itself makes enough money for me to pay for this out of pocket. In addition, I can work for an employer that does tuition assistance, tuition reimbursement, which then now allows me to go to school for free. Okay, so it being a fairly cheap program was attractive to me. Another thing is it's my alma mater. Like, who does not want to go back to their school? And there's so many changes and things happening to USF. One of the biggest ones is the fact that we're actually building our own on-campus stadium, which based on the renderings that I've seen, chef's kiss. I honestly can't wait to go to the first football game, and I believe it is scheduled to open to the public fall 2027. Yeah, I think that's right. And the last reason why I selected the USF program was just the way in which they structure you getting your MBA. So as someone that's considered part of the evening program, I get to take those night classes, but I also have access to their hybrid classes or weekend classes where you come in once a month on a weekend, like a Saturday and Sunday, for like 8 hours a day each day. And I think they provide lunch, so they have that option. And then they also have the option where you can take their fully remote classes where you don't come in person at all. So I definitely can see myself taking advantage of all three, and I don't know how many other schools offer that same type of dynamic, but I mean, it's my alma mater, like why not? So some of the footage that you guys have seen in previous episodes was me on the job search and the job hunt, and so I feel like it's necessary to kind of give you just a slight update there. And so I've had the opportunity to do one contract between January and now, and it was with a major media company. It was a pretty cool, easy project. I talked about it a little bit on my TikTok and on YouTube videos, so be sure to look at those shorts. I'll tag them here. That kind of pushed me me to reconsider the Salesforce Administrator certification because I used a lot of it, and to be honest, they hired me as a project manager, but I felt like I was more of a business analyst, to say the least, and it was very, very technical. But I will say that they didn't really know what they needed until I got there, which is probably why I still consider that a project manager role. But I definitely would probably update my resume a little bit and kind of show how I was doing business analysis in there. So that was that. One of the things that I've been doing a lot of is interviewing. I've been interviewing so much, it's it's insane. And there's a few things that I've been noticing in me looking for roles, and that is you end up in a job interview where they're not actually looking, they're kind of just seeing what's out there, or they're preparing for future opportunities. You're wasting time. You're wasting my time, okay? Next thing I've noticed is literally in the middle of the interview process, meaning I've done my HR screen, I've done my initial interview with the hiring manager, and now I'm about to meet the senior lead. Like literally right in between there, all of a sudden they have an internal candidate that's interested, and then now all chances are lost. And my thing is don't companies open it to their internal employees first before y'all give it to us? And also, I feel like, I don't know about y'all, but there really is no competition with an internal candidate. It's cheaper for the company to take that person and move them into that department, train them, than it is to bring in somebody new. It's just that simple. The only way that I can beat an internal candidate is if the internal candidate transitions to that role and then they suck, they get fired, they get demoted, and then they bring back someone that they previously was interested in. But that internal competition, oh my God, it's annoying. Another thing I've noticed is that companies are closing the roles. Like they decide to yeah, we've decided not to hire for this role anymore. And it's like, bro, we're in the middle of the interview process. I need y'all to tighten up. Because of what I've been seeing, I've been paying very close attention to what the industry in the market has been saying about project management. I've read different articles, I've listened to executives, and it's definitely going to be the time for you to lock in on certifications and kind of hone in on your industry. But I will say, based on the articles that I've read, that the most critical needs industry right now at the top of it is construction. So trying to get your feet wet into construction project management, and then also in technology. Okay, first of all, every industry is using some type of technology, but niching into technology, maybe your zone of genius is a specific software, or your zone is a specific branch, like maybe it's cybersecurity, like you're a security project manager, and so you focus on security projects, and maybe you have a security plus certification along with your PMP. You get what I'm saying? And when I say software, I mean like if you're interested in construction and project management, so like you're a Procore GOAT, right? And so everybody contacts you about Procore. Or let's say you're a Workday phenom, and so now you're a Workday project manager, and so like those are the main things that you get. I feel like niching like that is probably going to be your best bet. Now for me, I am kind of throwing darts at a lot of different areas as far as the technology space. So getting cloud certifications, security certifications, software certifications. I feel like that is what I want to do to kind of see what sticks. I'm also in a renewal year, so I've completed all my 60 PDUs, and my PMP is now going to be renewed for another, I think it's renewed for another 3 to 5 years. I'm not sure, I need to check. But finally, can't wait to get over that hump. And just a special note for those that didn't know, it costs $150 to renew. I thought that I was gonna submit them 60 PDUs and be like, great, send me my PMP, and they were like, yeah, send us $150. Okay. Another major update is my Discord channel. So I launched a Discord channel back in March where it's pretty much a project management community that's solely focused on us, right? So the project manager, the scrum master, like those roles, those titles, it's all about us. And my goal is to provide us the necessary resources to thrive in this industry. And probably the biggest part of the Discord that I like is the job section. So I post every single day, like me, I actually do it. It's not a bot, it's not an assistant yet, okay? But I go and I post project manager jobs in the US and internationally daily. I also do my best to try to find internships in the US and internationally and post them as well. Now, I do not have any direct contacts with any recruiters, any HR professionals, which is something that I would like to do in the future. But right now, I just want to kind of focus in kind of creating our own little job board for us to find roles. I'm checking all the time and I do my best to try to find roles that are open within the previous 24 hours in the last week, but I do post roles that are probably open within the last 30 days. As long as it's still online, it's still an opportunity, it's still available. So I post those. And the other things that I post on the channel is different articles that I read, things I see that's going on in the tech community, in the corporate world, in the economy, and how that impacts us. I also create a space for us to kind of share any wins, any highlights, any things that you're seeing out there. So one of the things that someone had shared with us was the fact that if you're using AI to optimize your resume or write your resume, there's some type of prompt that you need to input so it can remove certain type of text and symbols that are flags that this is an AI created resume. And it's crazy that they're treating AI created or AI assisted resumes like that when the whole big issue for the past few years was people's resumes were not optimized. People's resumes were not making it past the applicant tracking system because it didn't speak that type of language. So now we use technology to help us speak the language, and then now you guys are rejecting those same resumes because of that language. It makes absolutely no sense. We're chasing our tails right now. But I create that. Now, there's some other things that I do want to do, and I'm not sure how I want to do it. So if y'all have ideas, feel free to share it. But I do see there's a need for resume reviews. I do see there's a need for interview practice, and stuff like that takes a lot of energy, which is why it's something that you have to consult with me. But I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can still monetize off of it without going overboard in pricing, but also making it very beneficial to you guys. So if you have ideas, share it with me. But right now, it's still, feel free to email me for a consult. So I do see big needs for that. And no matter how many jobs I post, you're not going to get it if the resume isn't right. And then if you do get the interview, you're not going to get the job if you don't navigate the interview in a certain way. You have to sound like a project manager. I can't say that enough. And so that's just the bare minimum update that I have for y'all right now. I'm trying my best to get out of my creative funk where I just haven't been really motivated to create content. And it goes back to that dichotomy of like wanting to be out there but also wanting to be a recluse. So trying to find that dynamic, but like I said, trying my best to show up. And one of my friends, he kind of started this little series of like just create bullshit, just show up and hit the record button. Hence why there's no mic, there's no structure. It's just y'all get what y'all gonna get, okay? But in the meantime, I said you one, join the Discord, which will be listed in the description. 2, be sure to like, subscribe, and share all my project management content with other people that you know want to be in project management. And then 3, just ask that you guys continue to support me in all ways possible. Until next time.